Good morning, dear students. Welcome to my channel Patel Science Academy and in the 8 number lecture from the chapter Enhancement of the Food Production. Dear students, in this 8 number lecture, you are going to learn about the topic microbes in human welfare. So, dear students, as you know, this is Shaza sir, and in this lecture, you are going to learn about different topics in which there is a big role of the microbes. So, dear students, biotechnology is the applications of the scientific and engineering principles for the processing of the materials by the biological agents to provide the goods and service to humans or for the human welfare. So, there is a big role of microbes in this technology. There are variety of microorganisms like the algae, fungi, bacteria, viruses, protozoans, nematodes, etc. and their products that exhibits the beneficial activities which are used for the welfare of the human in regard to food, health, industry, agriculture, medicine and biocontrol, etc. Dear students, these organisms are used variously in the food and the feed technologies, industries, waste utilization, and in the energy production too. So, in this chapter, we'll learn about the microbes and their role in the human welfare. So, dear students, first I think you should know about the microbes. What is microbes? So, definition of the microbes: the organism. Microbe means the organisms, living organisms that are too small to be seen with naked eyes. Means to microbes you cannot observe, you cannot see, you cannot watch by your open eyes, by your naked eyes. So what to do, how to see them? We have to use the microscope to see that all microorganisms, because they are very teeniest in size, they are very smallest in size. So microorganism means the organisms that are too small or teeniest to be seen with the naked eyes. We have to use the microscope to see them. So there are some microorganisms which causes disease too. They are called disease causing organism, and it is microorganism that can make an animal sick. So as you know, there are so many microorganisms which can make us sick because they are not good for us if it is eaten, inhaled or through the direct contact. As you can remember, nowadays coronavirus is there. This is again one of the microorganism, and it is very harmful for the human being. Nowadays this virus has destroyed almost all the world countries. So you can see this coronavirus is the disease causing microorganism. There are some pathogens too. What is pathogen? Any microorganism that causes diseases. So pathogen is microorganism, disease causing organism may be microorganism, microbe is the microorganism. Microbe is the general term we use for the organism that when to them we cannot see by the microorganism. Disease causing microorganism, if we inhale or eat through the direct contact, they can cause the disease. Pathogens, the microorganism that causes disease. Types of the microbes: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, virus, prions. All these are the types of the microorganism as I told you earlier. So I hope you have understood about this term microbes. These are the microorganisms you are observing here. This is the digital pic of microbes of bacteria, rod-shaped bacteria by the microscope, and dear students will see the role of these microbes, but the good role of these microbes for the human welfare, for the human life. So for the human activity too, for the animal too, but especially for the human welfare. Now we'll see the different role of the microorganism in the human welfare, the microorganism which are good for the human. So we'll see in this lecture the microbes in the household products, the microbes in the industrial products. In the household products, which microbes are used to produce the different food or different dishes. in the industry, which microorganisms are there, we are using since so many years, and we are producing the different industrial products by the role of that microbes. We'll see the microbes role in the sewage treatment, in the biogas production, as a biocontrol agent, and as a biofertilizer. So microorganisms are having so many roles in our welfare. So dear students, let's see it one by one. Microbes in the household products. So production of the curd from the milk. I hope everyone from every home, they are well familiar with the curd, and it is made from the milk. Do you know, dear students, there is a big role of the microbes in making this curd from this milk. Microbes such as the lactobacillus, this is a bacteria known as lactobacillus, and a group of the lactic acid bacteria, that is called lactic acid bacteria or the lactobacilli. This microorganism, this bacteria, is having the role in making this curd. This converts the milk to curd by producing the acid, which is partially digested and coagulates milk protein. So dear students, this curd is made by this lactobacilli bacteria by converting the milk to curd by producing the acids, which is partially digested by that milk and coagulates the milk protein into its curd condition. The small amount of the curd, that is starter or the inoculum, which is added to the milk, contain millions of the bacteria which multiply under suitable conditions, and thus converting it into the curd. This is the process that takes place by the lactobacilli. A small amount of the curd, starter or the inoculum, which is added to the milk, contains the millions of the bacteria. Dear student, there are millions of bacteria in that small amount, and which multiply under suitable condition. These microorganisms, these bacteria, multiply in that milk and convert that milk into this curd. This process increases the nutritional value of the milk by increasing the vitamin B12, and it also checks the disease causing organism in our stomach. So these are the different steps and benefits of the curd, and I hope you have understood about this curd. It is made by the microorganism lactobacilli. So this is the role of lactobacilli in the one of the household product, as I told you. Now this is example number 1 in the household product. What exactly is fermentation? The process by which the microbes consumes sugar and produce acids and alcohol and gases. This is called fermentation. Dear students, there is a term fermentation. And what is fermentation? The microbes in this process consumes the sugar and convert it into acids, alcohol or gases. Means sugar is going to be converted into acid especially. So that process is called fermentation, and most of the microorganisms convert the food by the process of the fermentation. The transformative action of the microorganism from the art of the fermentation and control the rot. Fermentation pre-digest the food and acting like an exterior stomach. So I hope you have understood about the fermentation, the conversion of the sugar into the acid, alcohol or gas. It is called fermentation. So by doing the process of fermentation, most of the microorganism, they produces the food for the human being, and this is the role of the microbes in the food preparation. Dear students, these are the common fermented foods. You can see here: Tabasco sauce, yogurt, soya sauce. All these are the different products which is produced by the fermentation. Means in this product, sugar is converted by the microorganism into the acid, alcohol or gas, especially in the acid. So dear students, microorganism in the food production, the development of the biotechnology occurred in the two phases: traditional till 1971 and modern after 1970. Traditional biotechnology is based on the fermentation principle by using the fermenting bacteria. As I told you, about fermentation, and these were used in the preparation of the variety of indigenous fermented food products like the dosa, dokla, and idli. So microbes are the single cell living organisms so tiny that millions can fit into the eye of a needle. You can understand about the size of the microorganism, dear students. The millions of microorganisms can be fit into the eye of the small needle. They are the oldest form of the life on the earth, and the first realization that microorganisms were involved in the food production process was in 1837, and when scientists discovered the role of the yeast in an alcoholic fermentation. So dokla, dosa, and idli, these different products are produced by this fermentation process by using the microorganisms. So grains, you can see here these in the first in this picture, grains ready for the crushing, soaking grains, batter before fermentation, and butter after fermentation. Then this idli is found and it is then cooked. So this idli is made by this process, and you can see it is fermented process. It is fermented product produced by the process of the fermentation, and these small bubbles you can see here. These small bubbles is because of the process of the fermentation, because the dough of this product dish is always puffy because of the trapping of the carbon dioxide gas bubbles, and this is done because of by the process of the fermentation. So idli, dokla, and dosa is produced. Microbes in the household production, microbes in the food preparation. Many household preparations such as the naan, dokla, idli, dosa, jalebi, etc. it involve the process of the fermentation. As I told you, various species of the bacillus, lactobacillus, Saccharomyces candida are involved in this process, and using the lactic acid bacteria, paneer, cheese, curd, shrikhand, buttermilk are also produced, whereas the cheese is the product produced by the fermentation by the fungi. So idli is a fermented food prepared by the mixture of the black gram and rice, and fermented mixture is steamed in the special vessels before consumption. Microflora involve the lactic acid bacteria in this process: Leuconostoc, Mesenteroides, Lactobacillus delbrueckii, Lactobacillus firmini, Lactobacillus lactis. All these microorganisms are involved in the preparation of this idli. Dosa, this is again the process. It is also produced by the process of the fermentation by that lactobacilli bacteria. Dokla, the dough of the dokla is made by the mixing the gram flour, that is besan, plus buttermilk plus lactobacilli comes there and do the process of fermentation, and by this process the dough of this dokla become puffy because of the trapping of carbon dioxide gas bubbles in that dough. It become puffy, and this dokla is produced by this lactobacilli. Process of fermentation is done by this lactobacilli. Bacillus candida, Saccharomyces, all these makes this idli, dokla, and dosa. And why the dough of this dishes is puffy? Because the bubbles of carbon dioxide gas trapped in the gluten make the idli puffy. So this question is asked in the examination: why the dough of the idli is puffy? Answer is here: because of the carbon dioxide gas bubbles trapped there in that dough, it makes it puffy. Microorganism as a source of the food. There are some common mushroom which can be used as a source of food. That is white button mushroom, that is called Agaricus bisporus. Paddy-straw mushroom, that is called Wolverilla wolvesii. You can make an abbreviation to remember this term, AB, as Agaricus bisporus. It is also called white button mushroom. Question is so many times asked on the scientific name of this mushroom. White button mushroom scientific name is AB, that is Agaricus bisporus. Paddy-straw mushroom is VV, that is Wolverilla wolvesii, and oyster mushroom is PF, that is Pleurotus florida. This is called the third type of the mushroom, oyster mushroom, and it can be used as a source of the food. It can be directly eat. White button mushroom is here. You can see paddy-straw mushroom is here, oyster mushroom is here. All these are the sources of the food. But there is one more mushroom, that is called toadstool, and it is non-edible mushroom, and it cannot be edible. It is non-edible because it is poisonous, and this is the structure of that paddy-straw of toadstool. This is poisonous mushroom, and rest of the mushroom I gave you, they are picked. All that are the non-poisonous mushroom, they are edible. Oyster mushroom, paddy-straw mushroom, and white button mushroom. So this is about the mushroom as a source of the food. So this is again one of the organisms from the fungi category and can be used as a food source. So now we'll see the microbes in the industrial production. The microbes in the industrial production, dear students, beer, production of the alcoholic beverages. First, beer. Beer, it is made by the barley plus Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This Saccharomyces cerevisiae plus malting, mashing, fermentation, all these processes are performed by the Saccharomyces cerevisiae and stands for the few days, and then it is clarified and carboxylation is done there, and then packing and marketing is done. So this is the process of making the beer as a alcoholic beverages. Actually, during fermentation, variety of the products like the alcoholic beverages, organic acids, vitamins, growth hormone, enzymes, antibiotics are produced. So, dear students, production of an industrial scale requires the growing microbes in the very large vessels called the fermenters. And the main function of a fermenter is to provide a control environment for the growth of the microorganism or a defined mixture of the microorganism to obtain the desired product. So alcoholic beverages, as I told you, beverages is a liquid used or prepared for drinking. For example, tea, coffee, beer, wine, which acts as a stimulant. Alcohol beverages are the products of the alcoholic fermentation of the specific substrate. Use of the microbes in the malting alcohol beverages known since Vedic period 5000 to 7000 BC. Microbes, especially yeast, have been used from time immemorial for the production of the beverages like the wine, beer, whiskey, brandy or rum. For this purpose, the yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, as I told you in the beer, commonly it is called brewer's yeast, is used. This Saccharomyces cerevisiae is used for fermenting the malted cereals and fruits juices to produce the ethanol. Among the beverages, wine and beer are produced without the distillation, whereas the whiskey, brandy and rum are distilled beverages. Tubular tower fermenter is used for the large scale production of the alcohols, and several traditional drinks and food are also made through the fermentation by the yeast. And today a traditional drink of the coastal region in the South India is made by the fermenting the sugar sap extracted from a palm plant and coconut palm. The famous wine of the Goa in India is traditionally known as Fenny, Fenny. is made by fermenting the fleshy pedicels of the cashew fruits. So these are the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and it is used in the beer, whiskey, rum, all that product. Now we'll see the production of the organic acids. Microbes are also used for the commercial and industrial production of the certain organic acids, and these compounds can be produced directly from the glucose, that is from the gluconic acid, or formed as end products from the pyruvate or ethanol. So dear students, you can see here these are the organic acids, and these are their microbes which is used to produce this organic acid. Citric acid is produced by the Aspergillus niger by AN. Gluconic acid is produced by again the Aspergillus niger. Fumaric acid is produced by the Rhizopus rhizus, and acetic acid, which is commonly known as vinegar, it is produced by the Acetobacter aceti by this organism. So this is about the organic acids produced by the different living organisms. Vitamin C production, the name of the vitamin B2, B12, vitamin C. Their microbial use in the industry for the production of this vitamin B2 is Neurospora gossypii, Erythrothecium acidi, Pseudomonas denitrificans. All these are used to produce this vitamin B2. Pseudomonas denitrificans is used to produce the vitamin B12, and Aspergillus niger is used to produce the vitamin C. It means vitamins production is also possible by the microorganisms. Then antibiotic production. Antibiotic, as you know, it's a drug used to kill the bacteria, and the development of the antibiotic drug like the penicillin was able to cure the many bacterial infection like that would have killed the millions of the people. And dear students, this antibiotic damage the bacterial cells but do not harm the human cells. So this antibiotic is also produced. Actually, this man Alexander Fleming, the man who has discovered the penicillin, the first antibiotic, and these antibiotics are probably the most important groups of the compounds synthesized by the industrial microorganism. Most antibiotics are secondary metabolites, and they have therapeutic importance and are used in the medical treatment. These are produced in a small amount by the certain microbes like the bacteria, fungi, and few algae, and which inhibits the growth of the other microbial pathogens. Therefore, they are used in the medicine, and this is the big role of the microbes for the production of this medicine known as antibiotics. These antibiotics are antibacterial, antifungal. Antibiotics have greatly improved our capacity to treat the deadly diseases such as the plague, whooping cough, diphtheria, leprosy, etc. Some common antibiotics and their microbial sources are, dear students, they includes the antibiotic like the chloromycetin. Chloromycetin, it is produced by the microbial source Streptomyces vanicilli. Then another antibiotic, number 2, erythromycin. Erythromycin is produced by the Streptomyces erythraeus. Then penicillin. Penicillin is produced by the Penicillium chrysogenum. Then streptomycin. Streptomycin is produced by the Streptomyces griseus. Then one more antibiotic, griseofulvin. It is produced by the Penicillium griseofulvum. Then bacitracin. Bacitracin is produced by the Bacillus licheniformis. And one more as a last antibiotic, that is oxytetracycline or terramycin. It is produced by the Streptomyces aurifaciens, this living organism, as a microbial source. Now we'll go for the gibberellin production. Actually, gibberellin production, what is gibberellin? Gibberellin is a group of the growth hormone mainly produced by the higher plants and the fungi. For what? To promote the growth by the stem elongation. Means gibberellin is the group of the hormone which is responsible for the elongation of the stem in the plant. The first gibberellin was isolated by two Japanese scientists, that is Yabuta and Sumiki, in 1938 from the rice seedling infected with the fungus Gibberella fujikuri. That is why it is given a name gibberellin. So dear students, this gibberellin is also produced. About 15 different types of the gibberellins have been isolated. Gibberellins have many practical applications. They are used to induce the parthenocarpy in the apple and pears. They are also used in breaking the dormancy of the seed and also including the flowering in the long day plant, that is LDP, and they are also used to enlarge the size of the grapes fruits. So these are the use of the gibberellin hormone which is produced by the gibberellin fujikuri in the rice. Thereafter, the enzyme production. We'll see the role of the enzyme microbes in the enzyme production. Dear students, these are the name of the enzymes and these are the name of their microbial sources. Invertase is produced by the SC Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Pectinase is produced by the Sclerotinia, Thiena, libertine, and lipase is produced by the Rhizopus species, and cellulase is produced by the Trichoderma conigi. So these are the enzymes produced by these microbial sources. Dear students, thereafter the role in the industrial dairy industry. Various products like are obtained from the milk in the dairy industry using the microbial species such as the cheese, yogurt, buttermilk, paneer, etc. Species of the Streptomyces penicillium and the lactobacillus are commonly employed in this process, as I told you earlier. Now I'll go for the next slides, the microbes in the sewage treatment. Dear students, in the sewage, what is sewage? Sewage is a matter carried off in a drainage, and it is the municipal waste containing the human excreta, household waste, dissolved organic matter, and even the pathogenic microbes like bacteria, viruses, protozoa, nematodes, and the microfungi. It also includes the discharge water from the hospital waste, slutters, house waste, animal dung, etc. Discharge from this industrial waste which contains the toxic dissolved organic and inorganic chemicals, tannery, pharmaceuticals waste, etc. are also added to the sewage. Means sewage is that part which is having all that matter which is not for our use. So dear students, composition of the sewage, it consists of approximately 99.5% to 99.9% water and 0.1 to 0.5% inorganic substance or inorganic matter and organic matter in suspended and the soluble form. The composition of the sewage varies depending upon the type of the waste discharged into the water from the different industries. Example, textiles, chemicals, pharmaceutical, dairy, canning, brewing, meat packing, tannery, oil refineries, and meat industry, etc. So this depends on their wastage sources. So microbes in the sewage, dear students, various types of the microorganisms are also present in the sewage. The bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, algae, etc. are found in the sewage, and however their number and the types and fluctuates depending upon the sewage composition and the source of the sewage. Raw sewage may contains the millions of bacteria per ml. Millions of bacteria can be there per ml. These includes the coliforms, fecal streptococci, anaerobic spores forming bacilli and other types of the originating in the intestinal tract of the humans. Before wastewater is made available for the human use, it has to be treated properly so as to remove the organic matter, inorganic salts, and the pathogens as well. Sewage treatment process, it actually, dear students, includes these following steps. Primary step number 1 as a preliminary treatment, step number 2 as a physical treatment, step number 3 as a biological treatment, and step number last as a tertiary treatment. So by applying that 4 steps, we can reuse that water from the sewage. So let's see it one by one. The process of sewage treatment in the STP. Primary treatment, it is actually the preliminary treatment, and it includes the screening and grit chamber. Screening means sewage and waste water contain the plenty of suspended and floating materials, coarse and solid particles along with their dissolved substance. The suspended objects are filtered and removed. This is the step number 1, and this is done in the screening chamber, which is the very first part of the first step, screening. The sewage is passed through these screens or net in the chambers, and larger suspended or floating objects are held back in the screening chamber, and these have to be removed before the biological treatment, means before we go for the second step. Dear students, then comes the second part of the first treatment or first topic, that includes the grit chamber, GRIT, grit chamber. First we have seen screening from the first step, and first step is having screening and grit chamber. What is done in the screening I told you. Now grit chamber, what happens after screening? The filtered sewage is then passed into the series of the grit chamber, and these chamber contain the large stones, pebbles and bricks, ballast. Coarse particles settle down by the gravity. Thus the passage of the filter sewage remove much of the coarse particulate matters. So this is done during the very first step, that is called preliminary treatment. Then comes the next step. Next step is a physical step as a second number step from this sewage treatment, and it includes the primary treatment. After the preliminary treatment, the sewage water is pumped into the primary sedimentation tank. Then the sedimentation of the suspended solid or the organic matter occurs in this tank, and about 50 to 70% of the solid settle down. There is a reduction of about 30 to 40% in the number of the coliform organism, and this organic matter which is settled down is now called primary sludge. You can see here this primary sludge. It is actually settled down now. And what to do with this sludge? There is a reduction about 30 to 40% of the coliform organism which is now settled down, and it is called primary sludge, which is removed by the mechanically operated device, and the supernatant, that is called effluent, in the primary sedimentation tank still contain the large amount of the dissolved organic matter and microorganism, which can be removed then by the secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is the third step of this sewage treatment. So third step means the secondary treatment. It includes it is also known as the biological treatment. First step is known as physical process, primary treatment is known as physical treatment, and the second and the third step, that is called a secondary treatment, is also called as the biological treatment. And the primary effluent in this step is passed into the large aeration tank, and here it is constantly agitated mechanically, and air is pumped into it, and then aerobic bacteria grows vigorously and forms the flux. So flux formation takes place here, and flux are the masses of the bacteria held together by the slime and the fungal hyphae to form the mesh-like masses. These aerobic microorganisms consumes the major part of the organic matter present in the effluent as they grow, and due to this BOD, that is biological oxygen demand of the effluent, is significantly reduced. Then comes means BOG is reduced here, biological oxygen demand is reduced here. So dear students, now what to do? We should go for the tertiary treatment, the last step. The heavy metal ions such as once the BOD of the waste water is reduced, it is passed into the settling tank, and here the bacterial flux are allowed to sediment. The sediment is now called activated sludge, and the small part of this is passed back into the aeration tank again, and the major part is pumped into the large tank, and it is called anaerobic sludge digester. In this tank, the aerobic bacteria grow and digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge. During this anaerobic digestion, gases such as the methane gas, hydrogen gas, sulfide and carbon dioxide gases are produced. The effluent from these plants digester after chlorination and are released in the natural water bodies like the river and stream, and chlorination kills the pathogenic bacteria, and likewise digested sludge is then disposed. So you can see this process of sewage treatment by the microorganism. There is a big role of the microorganisms in the sewage treatment too. Now we'll go for the role of the microorganism as a biofertilizer. Biofertilizer, these are the organisms that are used to enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. So bacteria and fungi like the mycorrhizae, cyanobacteria like Azotobacter, Azospirillum, and symbiotic association Rhizobium bacteria for the nitrogen fixation are used. So biofertilizer means the fertilizer which is used to enrich the nutritional quality of the soil for the plants, and as a biofertilizer some microbes as a bacteria, fungi and other cyanobacteria is used as a microorganism as they enrich the soil of that particular area. So by fixing the different nitrogen and other materials. So bacteria, cyanobacteria, fungi, that is mycorrhizae, are the three groups of the organisms used as the biofertilizers. So actually these are the microorganisms directly used as a biofertilizer. Here students, bacteria, for example Rhizobium bacteria, Azotobacter, Azospirillum, all these are used as a bacteria, as a microorganism. Rhizobium is a soil habitat bacterium which is able to colonize the legumes roots and fixes the atmospheric nitrogen symbiotically. This is Azobacter and Azospirillum and the Rhizobium bacteria.
Friends, like us, plants also require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. So they absorb nitrogen continuously from the soil, due to which the amount of nitrogen becomes deficient. As you all know, that there is 78% of nitrogen present in our atmosphere, but plants cannot use it in the manner directly as they can use carbon dioxide. They require nitrogen in soluble form. The bacterium called Rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. These bacteria live in the roots of gram, peas, mung beans, and other legumes and provide them with nitrogen. In return, the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. Thus, we can say that Rhizobium shows a symbiotic relationship.
So dear students, you have seen the role of the Rhizobium bacteria as a symbiotic bacteria role. This is about the role of bacteria, Rhizobium bacteria, as a symbiont in the microbial, as a microbial source.